Hi, and welcome back to Thinking Kingdom Thoughts. I'm Tracy, and I want to thank you for coming this week. Today's show is about personal testimonies, and I would love for you to introduce yourself.
I'm Brandy, Brandy Meeks.
And we've met through the church and at Grafted, and I just love this girl. She is so precious and sweet. So, could you tell us a little bit about how long your walk has been with y'all?
As far back as I can remember, I grew up in church, like I said, but like me personally, my own, probably about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
About 10 years ago, yeah.
Wow.
When I started really walking and like doing my own research into the Bible and finding God myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what is your kingdom thought during difficult times?
It's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
God's got this. I always tell myself that, he didn't bring me this far to leave me now, to drop me now, like it's gonna be okay. We're gonna get through this. And I just remember that, I came through all of this, and he's not gonna put anything more on me than what he knows I can handle. And who better knows than my creator?
Right. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you mind saying a prayer for us?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Father, I just want to thank you first for this day. Thank you for this air that I'm breathing. Thank you for all the blessings that you have bestowed on my life and the ones that I've yet to receive, Lord. I just thank you for that. I thank you for never abandoning me, no matter what. I just ask that you would speak through me and guide my words and just be here. Lead me through this, lead us all through this, and just, I thank you, Lord, for your grace and your mercy and your forgiveness. And amen.
Amen. Amen. I like those because we're talking to him personally,
Yeah.
And, we're not always used to hearing ourselves out loud.
Yeah.
And that always throws me off too. It does.
Usually when I pray, I'm in my car by myself and I'm just talking to God like I'm talking to you, like, hey, I got this going on. I know you already know, but I'm just telling you, I need some help with it.
Yeah.
And I just talk to him.
Right.
Like a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's our God, that's for sure.
Yes.
So how did you start tour Observance?
My mom. I moved in with my mom a couple years ago, and she was going to Grafted.
Mm-hmm.
And, at first I was like, oh, church, because I have my own issues with that from my past childhood and stuff. And but I went, and I was like, hey, these are real people with real issues that have real pasts like mine, and they're doing this, and they're happy,
right,
and genuine. Like, you can just feel the genuineness at Grafted, and it really helped me, like, I guess, broaden my horizons, because I've never looked into the Hebrew way, because I just get taught. I grew up in a Foursquare church, Assembly of God type churches, and they're a little different.
Yeah,
they're a little different.
Yeah.
So, yeah, for about a year now, 2 years, about 2 years.
Yeah,
2 years, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, still struggle with it.
Yeah. Well, we're never gonna, I don't think, ever know it all.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I feel like, for me, I have to keep finding God, because if I feel like I've found him, I really haven't. I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, because we're always changing, and everything is a learning experience and curve, and I can't never know everything.
Right.
So
right.
Just gotta keep learning.
Yeah. And I like how you said that. You're getting to know him over and over again, because I go through that too. Like, it's like a wave, and I don't know if the rest of you have recognized that in your walk. You get stronger the longer you're in that walk, but at the same time, like, as you start going into some type of new lesson to learn in life, I'm like, okay, I need to hold your hand again a little tighter this time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
But I know that it's going to be okay because I know he's there.
right.
I know he's got my hand.
Yeah.
And even if he's not got my hand, he's right behind me. He's got my back.
Yeah.
Always got my back.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Yeah.
No matter what.
And that gives us such confidence that I never used to have. You know, I just didn't think that I could be a child of God.
Yeah, I never felt good enough. Like my own dad didn't want me, so you know why would something greater?
Father God.
Yeah, like that's major right there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it does.
Yeah. So what is your favorite scripture?
I have a few actually. My favorite verse is 2 Corinthians 4:8 and 9. I can't exactly remember what it says in the order, but it goes we are pushed on every side, but we are not crushed. We are driven to despair, but not perplexed. And it goes on for another, and it says that God will never abandon us.
Yeah.
And I feel that every day, because earlier today I'm trying to find apartments, and 1 out of 10 gave me hope.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm being crushed on every side. I'm trying to live a better life than what I used to, and it seems like on some things I just keep hitting obstacles and obstacles, but I know that God's there and he'll put me where I need to go.
Yeah. Sometimes he narrows our path down, so it makes it easier to make that decision too.
Yeah.
Which is a beautiful thing. Thank you for that. Instead of having 10 decisions, now you've got it down to 1 or 2 of that. So so would you mind sharing your testimony with us?
Sure. So Brandy Meeks, that's my name. I will be 34 years old this year. I never thought I would make it to 25.
Wow.
Much less 34. I grew up in Kansas, single parent family. It was just me and my mom. I didn't have any other siblings. It was just me and her. We moved around a lot. We never really had our own house or apartment. We did here and there, but we would rent out rooms in other people's houses. So we literally shared a room all the time. You know? My mom worked 2-3 jobs sometimes. It's hard for a single parent. Being a single parent now, I appreciate her so much more.
Yeah.
The sacrifices, the selflessness and everything. It's just, I appreciate her so much more. And anyways, I didn't meet my dad till I was 6 years old. I don't think my mom would have ever cared if I ever met him.
Yeah.
And finding out how he is, I kind of know why now, but my dad was a cop. So, I mean, he has a lot of issues with that. He grew up in a abusive household as well, where if you strike somebody, that means love, he was very narcissistic, very controlling. I went from having so much freedom with my mom, and then literally having none, almost feeling like I was in prison. Yeah. Because he used to shake my room down. He'd come up and tear my whole room up, trying to find something.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing nothing wrong. It really honestly wasn't until he kept accusing me of doing stuff wrong, and I'd get in trouble, grounded for not doing anything, that I started doing things wrong. Because if I'm going to get in trouble for it, I might as well commit the crime, right?
Right.
So that was around 12 or 13 is when that happened. My mindset kind of changed. But anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm sorry. So I didn't meet my dad till I was 6. And I didn't see him again for another 6 years till I was 12.
Yeah.
After I met my dad, I was like, I want my dad. And so I prayed every day for my daddy to come back. Mm-hmm. I grew up in church. We went Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night. My babysitters were people from the church, you know, and that's kind of where my prejudice, I guess it would be called, started.
Right.
I was about 5 or 6 years old, and I was being watched by this lady who went to our church. I grew up with her kids, right? We've been in this church my whole life.
Yeah.
Grew up with her kids. She had 3 kids. The oldest was, I think, 13. And they were all way older than me. But I was molested by him.
Oh, wow.
And so that kind of started my whole thing.
Yeah.
You know, even though I wasn't conscious of it at that time, because you're young. You know, I just knew it wasn't okay.
Right.
You know, I didn't know.
Right.
But I knew it wasn't right. And I didn't want to go back there. I didn't tell my mom until I was 16 about that.
Yeah.
But, you know, she was like, well, now I know why you threw a fit every time I tried to drop you off.
Yeah.
But that started. And then when I was in the 3rd grade, my mom met this guy in church again.
Yeah.
Married him. And I was like, yay, I have a dad.
Right.
I called him dad. You know, he had two kids. They were both older than me. So I was like, yay, brother and sister, you know, my family.
Yeah.
You know, prayers answered. He was very abusive towards my mom physically. And I got in trouble. Whatever they did, I got blamed for it, right? Because I'm a stepchild.
Yeah. Right.
He had locked me out of the house a few times.
Oh, no.
For whatever reason.
Right.
So there's that. Another thing, you know.
Right.
Church. And then when my dad came back into our lives when I was about 12 or 13, he used religion again, you know, to get back with my mom. Because my mom was very, very devout. She was very devout. Is that how you say it? Devout?
Yeah, you're okay.
I
think it depends on the dialect of where you're from.
Okay.
Some people say it that way, and some people say it the other.
Like pop and soda.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was very faithful. We'll say faithful. Her faith in God was very strong. Like she knew that everything was going to be okay because God was there. We read our Bibles. You know.
Yeah.
We prayed. Everything, right? Very devout, very strong in her faith. And my dad, I think, knew that from before when they were married. And so he used that. And whether it was genuine or not, I guess I'll never know. But, you know, my mom knew how much I wanted my dad back. She was kind of reluctant to be okay with it. But they got remarried. And my prayers were answered. I had my real family, you know.
Yeah.
I had everything I wanted. Because when I grew up in church, you know, what I remember is you do these things all right. You do this, this, and this. You pray, you believe, and it will be given to you, right? You believe it, you'll receive it type.
Right.
And I took that literally, you know, as a child, took it literally. And when I did all the right things and my dad came back, but he wasn't the dad that I wanted, I felt betrayed.
Yeah.
I felt betrayed. I felt inadequate. Because nothing I did was good enough for him. Nothing.
Wow.
Nothing I did was good enough for him. I wasn't good enough. He used to put me down, call me names, make fun of my weight, you know.
Yeah.
All kinds of things. And it became deep-rooted negative core beliefs in me, you know. Like, I'll never be good enough for any man. You know, God is a man. How could I be good enough for him? I'm not even good enough for my dad. You know, he doesn't even want me.
Wow.
And so that really threw everything off. And when we left my dad, I was heartbroken. Like, my spirit, everything shattered. My faith in God shattered. My trust in my mom even shattered because I'm like, dude, you're my mom. You should have known. You know, of course she didn't know. She believed him too because he said all the right things.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
And of course she wanted me, her daughter, to be happy.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't blame her anymore. I used to, but I don't anymore. But after that, was when everything just spiraled down lower, lower, and lower. We moved to my grandparents' house in Nebraska, and for the first 2 weeks, I wouldn't even leave my room.
Wow.
I wouldn't leave my room. They'd bring me food, and I didn't eat it. I'd only come out at night when everybody was asleep to maybe eat, maybe take a shower.
Yeah.
I was very, very much depressed and angry. I was so angry inside. I hated the world. I hated God. Everybody was out to get me. I didn't feel like I fit in at all, anywhere I went. And the small town we lived in made, just confirmed all of those beliefs even more, because they weren't very accepting of me. I mean, I come from a city
Yeah.
schools, city way of life, to country, extreme country,
Yeah.
like population 300 country. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I had more people.
Yeah, that's
in my,
what I grew up in, was the 300.
Yeah. I mean, there's more people in my school class than there's in this town. But yeah, so that was my sophomore year. So the end of my high school was difficult. I got into drugs. Those were the only people that accepted me. Like, I tried to be friends with the popular, the right kids. They didn't want me.
Yeah.
I didn't live there for generations.
Right.
Even though my whole side of my mom's side of the family, they all live there.
Yeah.
But since we moved and left, we're
And then-
outsiders now.
Right,
So
right.
we weren't accepted. Even my mom, who lived there, she wasn't, because she moved away. So it was difficult. I didn't crack a Bible. I didn't pray a prayer. I didn't nothing, because I did everything that the church told me to do. It wasn't good enough. So I just completely gave up on God and life. Really, I was really depressed for many, many years. Got into drugs real bad. Started messing up at school. I did graduate, though. I did graduate.
Good.
I did graduate. So I finished high school. I brought my grades up. My junior year was really bad. Like, I was out a lot. Went to my first rehab when I was a junior. Missed a lot of school. They almost didn't let me participate in the graduation ceremony because of it.
Wow.
But my mom was like, no.
Yeah.
So my mom went to bat for me on that. I brought my grades up from like a 2.4 failing
Yeah.
to a 3.8 in
Wow.
1 year. So, yeah, it wasn't that I was not smart.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to do the work, much less go to school, because I don't like you people. You don't like me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not fake the funk. But after high school, I kept getting in trouble. I was technically on probation. I had a DUI New Year's 2006 was the year I graduated. I had done a bunch of cocaine
Wow.
and drank everything at the house party I was at, and then I drove. Not a good combination.
Yeah.
Woke up in the hospital. Needless to say, I almost died.
Wow.
But luckily,
That's
nobody got
scary.
hurt. Nobody got hurt. I didn't get hurt. Just had a really bad hangover.
Yeah.
But, really sick.
Yeah.
But, everything was fine.
Yeah.
So I was on probation for that. Kept messing up, because I didn't care. I didn't care about your rules. So my mom, in desperation, got a hold of my dad, who, like I said, is an ex-cop, ex-military, very strict,
Yeah.
So she thought that maybe going back to the person that broke me would benefit. I mean, I know she was at her wit's end.
Yeah.
I know she was. I put her through a lot. She didn't know how to handle it. I understand. I get it. Maybe he can. I understand. I hated her for it because I was supposed to go to college and I didn't. But I was still technically her child, and she thought that was the best thing for me, and I can respect that.
Yeah.
She wanted to save my life, even though I didn't
Yeah.
want my life to be saved.
Yeah. Well, you were in a mindset of depression is difficult to deal with.
It is.
For the individual and everyone around them.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a very difficult thing to try and handle. And whether it's spiritual warfare that needs to take place or a chemical imbalance, God gets us through.
Yeah.
And sometimes when we're that low, we're reaching up to touch bottom. That it's hard for us to reach for God, and that's when God comes to us, and either through someone praying for us or just sees us there and loves us and doesn't want us to stay in that place anymore.
Yeah. And even through all of that, I know God was there, because I mean, how could I have not wrecked my car that night? You know what I'm saying? I do not remember driving at all. I remember getting in the car and then getting pulled over. I don't remember anything else.
Yeah.
Right? That's amazing.
Yeah,
I know God
that
was
is.
with me on that for sure. Because there was a bunch of people out. I mean, it was New Year's. Everybody was out. You know what I'm saying? I could have easily hit somebody, and everybody walks in that town.
Yeah.
So I'm just very thankful. I didn't hurt anybody, hurt myself. There's been many times that I know God was there and got me out of a situation that there was no getting out of.
Yeah.
Except by divine intervention.
Right.
And my life was definitely spared in all of the time. Sorry. Anyways, I came and lived with my dad in Oklahoma. That's how I ended up here. Yeah. My dad was living in Claremore. Came here, lived with my dad. That didn't last very long. I mean, you know.
Right.
I met a guy, as you know, most do. He was fun. His family loved me immediately. You know, just because they didn't care. You know, they were accepting. They didn't care what I did, what I looked like. You know, first time I met his mom, she was like, "I'm your mama now. You can call me Mama. You can call me Tina. You can call me Mama Tina. Whatever. But this is your home." First time I ever met her, so I was like, "Cool."
Wow.
You know. So she's crazy, but she's a good woman.
Yeah.
She's a good woman.
I love when women step into our lives and love us.
Yeah. Yeah.
With the genuine love that they have. Might not be a perfect love, but the genuine love that they give. I look back on my life, and it weren't for those women, I don't know where I would be.
She was the mama I needed at that point in my time. At that point in my life, like, my mom is a great mom. Don't get me wrong. She knows me better than I know myself sometimes, and it irritates me. But she's not confrontational, and I am a very headstrong, my way or the highway type person, and I need somebody to kind of put me back in my place sometimes. You know, my mom, she's not confrontational, so she's gotten better. You know, she's gotten better, but at that point in my life, I needed somebody like Tina to be like, "What are you doing?
Yeah.
You know,
right.
Come here and sit down. Let's talk about this. You're messing up." And she has her own past. You know, she has her own past, and she experienced a lot. She was in and out of prison as well, and I guess I trusted her word more because you lived a life.
Yeah.
You know, like a life that I'm not used to other people living.
Right.
You know? So you've experienced some things. So I guess I just maybe trusted her word a little bit more. But anyways, met Cody is his name, met Cody, and I got pregnant with Dominic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got married. We got married because I, you know, still my religious background. You don't want to have a baby out of wedlock.
Right.
Plus,
we try.
Plus, I've wanted a family my whole life. And now here's my chance to have my own family.
Yeah.
Right. Well, we got to pick better guys to have that kind of family, right? So he wasn't the best. He was very much into drugs. I was still doing drugs. We were doing drugs together. He ended up going to prison. He's still in prison. 15 years later, he's still in prison. So,
oh my goodness.
I mean, he hasn't been in the whole time, but
he
might as well have been. You know, not very long in between was he ever out. But I had Dominic, and I knew from the moment I looked at that pregnancy test that it was just going to be me and my baby. I
Wow.
knew that Cody wasn't going to be around. And I loved Dominic. I loved that baby, the little baby. You know, he's my everything. He was. I was 18 when I had him. Still very young, you know. Still very young, still very selfish, still very want to do my own thing. But I took care of him. You know, I had my baby. We had our own little family. I was like, hey, I can be like me and my mom. You know.
Right.
But I'm going to do it better. Right? Because I knew better. Right?
We do think we know better, too.
I think I know better. I'm not like her. I'll do it better.
Yeah.
No. My disease of addiction got in the way of that. Addiction is people ask a lot, is it a choice? Or, you know, I feel like it can start out that way. Absolutely.
Really? Yeah.
I do feel that way. It can start out as a choice. Because everything's a choice. Everything is a choice.
Yeah.
However, once you cross that line, it's no longer a choice. You know, like once a cucumber becomes a pickle, it can't be a cucumber no more, right? It's crossed that line.
Yeah.
And I crossed that. I triggered something in my brain. But what I feel like it really is I was trying to fill a God-sized hole with man-made things.
Yes.
You know, and
good way of putting that.
That is an impossible task to do, because it will never be enough, because what I need is not of this world.
Yeah.
Right. And of course, you don't think about that when you're 18. You just want what you want when you want it.
Right.
And whatever makes me happy and feel good right now and takes my mind off all this other stuff that's going on, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, it's kind of a way of self-medicating, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely it is. I had gone to psychiatrists and therapists since I was 6. They've prescribed me medications. The side effects, though, like I couldn't take the medicine for my mood stabilizer. I forget what it's called, but because the fluorescent lights at school would give me really bad migraines.
Oh, wow.
And so I wouldn't take it.
Yeah.
Right? I wouldn't take it. So I would medicate myself with a mixture of, you know, marijuana and methamphetamines.
Yeah.
Because I have, you know, ADD, ADHD, whatever you want to call it. So the stimulant focused my mind.
Right.
And my reading comprehension actually went up.
Yeah.
But obviously, you know, it also can distract you if you can't, that's not the right way to do it.
Gotcha. Right.
Marijuana would give me energy and
wow.
help me with my shyness.
Yeah.
So those were that attracted me. That was an attractive thing.
Yeah, it would be.
And because it made me feel different and be different, and I liked that.
Mm-hmm.
So very attractive, right? Yeah. I didn't know how to manage my emotions. I couldn't even identify my emotions. I know happy, sad, and mad. That's all I know.
Yeah.
You know, but as I'm growing and learning, there's so many more, and I can feel more than one at one time.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I feel like emotions, you know, are a choice. I can choose to let this driver who cut me off in traffic ruin my day or not.
Right.
Right. I can choose to let, you know, whatever affect me.
Yeah.
Right. It's however long I decide to be mad is up to me, because I can change it at pretty much any time.
And that's so true.
And I'm learning how to do that better.
Yeah.
You know, switch out of my moods, because work is hard. It's hard at work sometimes.
I guess why they call it work.
Yeah.
It's not,
it's work.
it's not easy.
Yeah. But after Dominic was about a year. No, he was like 9 months old. I met another guy, and I had another baby. Jamie was about 3 months old when I decided that I was not a good mother for either of them.
Oh, wow.
Because I had really high anxiety. I have really bad anxiety. I'm a perfectionist. You know, my dad, nothing's ever good enough, right? So I try to be perfect and do my best at everything, and I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. I never asked for help. Asking for help, I thought, was a sign of weakness, and I'm not weak. You know, still it's hard for me to ask for help. Still hard, because I feel like I can do it all. But it's gotten easier. So, you know, I was 19, had 2 kids by myself. Both of them were in prison. Again, I picked another winner, right? I've noticed that I pick guys who remind me of my father, and I don't like that. I keep picking narcissists. They're really attracted to me because I'm a caregiver.
Right.
I'm a nurturer.
And a people pleaser.
Yeah. And they hone in on that. And I hate it.
Yeah. It's some kind of radar they have. That's for sure. They're looking for it.
And they're charming, and they're always good looking, and they say all the right things at the right times, right?
Yeah.
I've gotten a lot better at identifying those red flags, you know, and not wasting my time. Definitely not having, you know, any long-term commitments to that. But anyways, I left. I signed, well, I thought I was signing over power of attorney, and come to find out I was signing over guardianship of my kids.
Wow.
DHS did not get involved. There was a moment where I was coming back. I was driving. I had both my kids in the car. They were both asleep. And I fell asleep for 1 second at the wheel. I was behind a rock truck, one of those big rock trucks.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a 2-lane highway with like a turn lane because we were coming up on a intersection. But when I came to, I was next to that rock truck that I was behind.
Wow.
And on oncoming traffic was another rock truck coming at me.
Oh my gosh.
Another God thing. I had enough time to speed up and swerve.
Wow.
And I hit that shoulder and stopped, and I was like, something's got to give. I looked back at those babies, and they were both sleeping so soundly, and something in me knew that it wasn't me that was going to change yet. I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
But I wasn't going to put those babies through anything else. And especially Jamie, she was an itty bitty baby.
Right.
You know, Dominic was almost 2 at this point.
Yeah.
So he knew me. But I got convinced, you know, that letting Dominic go would also be good. I didn't want to leave him. I didn't want to leave him.
Yeah.
Jamie, she was a little bitty baby. She was more fragile. You know, me and Dominic, we've been doing this, you know.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, my selfish mind was like, because I didn't really care for the living situation I was in. And I wanted us to have our own place.
Yeah.
And I was still messing with drug dealers and, you know, MS-13. I don't know if you've heard of them, but they're like a cartel.
Isn't that something that President Trump talks about? Where they're very brutal.
They can be, yes. They can be. They're from El Salvador. But I was messing with some guys. They're originally from California, and I was messing with them, and we were hustling.
Yeah.
And there was no kind of lifestyle for children, you know. So I was like, you know what? Let me just focus on this hustle for 6 months. I just need 6 months. No more than 6 months. I can have my own place. I'll get another job. You know, it'll be fine. That was my thinking. You know, I'm not going to be in this forever. Well, it lasted a lot longer than 6 months. I ended up, Jamie was born in 2009. In 2011, I went to prison. I went to county and then went to prison. But I was in a prison diversion program first. Really, my other lawyer was like, you shouldn't take this agreement. You should just take your time and go to prison because you're just prolonging the inevitable. Even he knew I wasn't ready. You know?
Oh, well.
He knew I wasn't ready. He was like, you're just wasting your time and pretty much everybody else's. But if you want to go ahead and try it, go ahead. I'm just saying, good luck. And I was like, thanks, guy. But anyways, I took that program. It was an outpatient type program. We were living in sober living houses, and we would still go to, we called it the center. We'd go to the center and have classes for, you know, drug rehabilitation, and it's a great program. At that time, it was still in its, I think it was its second year. Now it's saved a lot of lives. It's helped a lot of women, and it's a really, really good program.
And what's it called again?
It's called Women in Recovery. It's based out of Tulsa. George Kaiser Foundation helps fund it. They do a lot of good for community. Great program. If I actually applied myself, I probably, could have saved my life then. But, I was still running around with the same people. I was the equivalent to a dry drunk. I wasn't using, but I wasn't changing anything else about my lifestyle. Everything else was still the same. Yeah. Pretty much. I just wasn't ingesting any narcotics.
So it's very important to change your environment too, of the people that you associate with.
It helps. It definitely helps. Yes, it does. There's a girl at my job now. She's like, I've changed all my people, places, and things, because that's what they tell you. Quit going to the same places you used to go to. If you used to go to Walmart at 2 a.m., try going at noon. Yeah. You know what I mean? Try going to Target. Just change your, if you have using friends, obviously don't hang out with them anymore. Same with family. It's hard when your family member, your mom, is, right. Which luckily that wasn't the case for me. Yeah. The others, it is hard. Like, how do I leave
how
my
do you
mom?
even go home?
Yeah.
You can't go home at that point.
Exactly. And so it's very hard to do that. And but yes, it does help, very much so. It helps because when you're around people who genuinely want you to do good, you will start to believe it yourself that you are worth that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But those were the people I needed at that time, because we were both having the same struggles. We were both having the same struggles, trying to get the same kind of peace and serenity. We were just taking the long back roads way to get there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so I fit in. I felt accepted by those kinds of people. I still do. That's why I love NA, Narcotics Anonymous. Is a great program. It saved my life. It saved countless lives. And I mean, I was court ordered to go to AA and NA way back when I was 15. I didn't want to listen to them old people talk about their drunk days. I wasn't a drunk. I didn't feel like I was a drunk. But NA, I went to NA in Tulsa, and immediately felt welcomed, felt at home. I've been to NA meetings in many different states, many different cities, and I don't know if it was me that was different or the environment. Maybe it was a little bit of both. Yeah. But that welcomingness, that warmth, that genuine love for you saved my life. Yeah. It really did. But anyways, after I gave my kids away in 2009, I got with this guy who was a heroin addict, and he was an IV drug user. And I got into that, and I should have overdosed a few times on that. God was with me through that. He was very physically abusive. He broke 2 of my ribs. He's cracked bones in my foot. The scar on my chin is from a cup he hit me with. He had, I think, drug-induced schizophrenia or something like that, because I would catch him in the kitchen having a legitimate, full-blown conversation with somebody who was not there. Wow. He would bring me into those conversations sometimes. Yeah. Yeah. And, dealing with somebody in that state is delicate, because you don't want to, if you disregard it and tell them, oh, you're crazy, nobody's there, right, that can be dangerous for you, right? Wow. But also, you don't want to indulge too much, because that could also be dangerous for you. Yeah. So, I don't know. In times like that, I always was given discernment on how much to give and, what to say. Yeah. And I think back on those kinds of, those instances of those, and I'm like, I knew that was God. That had to have been God. Because I would have messed it up. I would have said some stuff and we're all getting shot. Yeah. Because I say the wrong thing at the right time, every time. And so I know that was God saving my life, putting the right words in my mouth at the right time. And he saved me from that. I was in that relationship for over a year. Wow. I tried to get away from him many times. I even went all the way to Nebraska, like 900 miles away, and he followed me to my mom's house. Wow. that freaked me out because I'm like, please
Yeah.
don't go crazy on my mom.
Yeah.
But anyways, I got out of that. I think honestly why I stayed that long is I felt like that punishment, like I was being punished. I felt like God was punishing me for abandoning my children.
Mm-hmm.
And so I let it happen.
And
I
it's
didn't really fight back.
Yeah, and I think when you're in that situation and you grew up with it, there's a certain degree of you thinking that's them loving me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Trauma bond is a very real thing. People in abusive relationships, why don't you leave him? I love him.
Yeah. Right.
It is one. It's kind of like war. Narcotics Anonymous, they use that as a compare and contrast kind of, or people sinking on a ship. Survivors from a sunken ship, they have that's a trauma. They have that bond, like, hey, we survived that together.
Yes. Yes.
And so you're more drawn to them, just like your abuser. You're more drawn to them. Yeah. And it's a sick and twisted way, but I mean, it's also when you have those low feelings of inadequacy and worthlessness, it's right to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's right.
Yeah, I agree. You describe it very well.
Thanks.
You really do.
But after Calvin, I got with a guy. He was cool. We had fun. I ended up catching a lot of cases with him. Those were the cases that sent me to prison. I took charges for him because, I got to be that ride or die chick, that loyal. It was always my main goal to make sure that everybody knew that I was loyal and honest.
Yeah.
Loyal and honest was my biggest things to prove to everybody.
Yeah.
And I was loyal and honest to the wrong people because I was lying to my mom, and my grandparents, and they're the ones that were there for me all the time, even through this.
Right.
So my loyalties were shifted. But I took a charge for him. If I would have kept my mouth shut, I would have never got those charges. Yeah. Never would have got them. But I did, and the reason why was because I needed to go to prison. I ended up going to prison. I got originally locked up in county October 1st of 2011. I stepped outside the gates of Mabel Bassett on October 11th of 2017. I did 6 full calendar years in 10 days.
Wow.
In prison.
What is that like?
Prison, it's a different world. It's its own world. It's its own rules. It's its own way of thinking. It's completely different.
Yeah. Does anyone teach you that when you go in, that this is a new world and this is how it is, or do you just catch on to it as you go, or
a little bit of both? And for me, I listened to the people who was already there.
Yeah.
Who'd been there for a while. The old schools is what we call them. The old timers. Because they've been there for, some of them, decades.
Wow.
I know a lady there, she's been locked up for 40 plus years, can hardly walk up the stairs.
Wow.
It's never getting out. Life without parole, never getting out.
So what did she do?
What did she do? There's been so many stories about what she did.
Right, yeah. I imagine it would fly with life.
I can't remember what she told me she did. I think her and her husband, it was pretty heinous, back then. They beat up a detention officer, I think, or like a county guard or something like that.
Yeah. They
beat him up, and I think the husband killed him, but she did not. She did not. But she's the same as him, life without parole.
Yeah.
But she's not gonna hurt nobody, and let her live some life. Let her breathe some air.
Yeah.
Because the air really does smell different. It does.
Yeah.
But no, because there were some people in county that I knew, and of course people that I met, and we became friends, and we went and did our whole time together. But county jail is horrible. I would rather be in prison than county, because in county, county, you're more locked down. You wear what they give you: bras, panties, socks, what they give you.
Wow.
And it's reused. It's
Yeah.
not new. You know, they don't have the money for that because of budget cuts and everything else.
Yeah.
So you wear other people's stuff, basically.
Wow.
Hundreds of other people's stuff.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's pretty gross. But prison, again, I kept my head down. I didn't get into, I'm not a very, you know, my social circle is like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And that helped me a lot because I noticed that the people with more friends had more problems.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you would.
I got something going on.
Oh, okay. And just take a break here for a second. Her phone's going off. I couldn't figure out what that noise was, and I was like, at first it sounded like the way my door sounds when I open it up, you know, and unlock it. The first few notes of it, and I'm like, so any emergency or anything like that?
No, it was just telling me to get ready for work that I don't have to go to.
Okay.
Sorry. I thought I turned everything off. My bad.
That's okay.
But yeah, prison was, it was cool. I got to find myself because I didn't have any guys telling me, you know, because I enmeshed myself into them.
Yeah.
Because I wanted them to like me and love
Right.
me, right? Like, just love me. I just want to be loved. So I got to know myself. I got to learn how I liked things, you know, what I really like to eat, what my favorite food really is, what my favorite color really is, you know.
Yeah.
Simple things that you would think you know about yourself.
Right.
I got to reconnect with God.
That's wonderful.
Spent a lot of time journaling, and journaling for me was like prayer, you know.
Yeah.
I just start writing, write it out, and it helped me a lot. Right after I hit the yard at Mabel Bassett, my grandpa died. He was sick. He had bad blood, like I don't know.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Too much iron in the blood, and they have to do a
He had to do a lot
transfusions.
He had to do a lot of those. He lost a lot of weight. My mom said, I still have not seen or asked to see pictures of his funeral, just because I don't want to remember him gauntly like that.
Yeah.
Because I have great memories of my grandpa. My grandpa was my dad. He taught me how to ride a bike, fish, clean a fish, shoot a gun, drive a car, you know.
Yeah.
My grandpa had a farm. He was a farmer.
Right.
And I would spend a lot of my summer with them.
Yeah.
And so I was riding a 4-wheeler around by age 4, you know. My grandpa, he was my dad.
Yeah.
He taught me everything. And he bought my first 3 cars for me. You know, he bonded me out a lot.
Yeah.
Him and my grandma did a lot. And I had an opportunity to go see him for a year before I got locked up. I was too much in my addiction. I just couldn't ever make it up there. And I got a phone call. Well, my case manager got a phone call. And he found me on the yard and he said, your mom called. Let's go call her. And I already knew.
Oh, man.
I knew what it was. And DOC does not allow transport for grandparents' funerals.
Oh.
Only immediate family. Mom, dad, brother, sister, child. That's it. And, you know, my generation, a lot of us was raised by our grandparents.
Yes.
You know, that is our mom and dad.
Right.
Can't go to their funeral. And it has to be within a certain mile radius. Obviously, they're not going to transport me to Nebraska. So I couldn't, there was no way I was going to his funeral. And that hit me hard again. You know, I felt a lot of guilt for how I treated them. Those 3 cars, the last car he bought me, I totally trashed. Like, I literally drove it till the wheels literally came off. Like, it was on stilts. It was bad.
Yeah.
And
well, you got your money's worth out of it then, right?
Well, I guess, yeah. I guess. Definitely ran it into the ground. It was a really nice car too.
Yeah.
But yeah, and just the lies and the empty promises, and you know, the time I realized what is really, really important. It's not money. It is time. It's not things. It is time.
Right.
Because once time is gone, it's gone. You can do whatever you can try your hardest to make up for it, but nothing can. Like,
Yeah.
I can't go back and hug my grandpa. Ever.
Right.
At least not here.
Right.
But
That's the beautiful thing with Christ, is that we have an eternal life in a kingdom to look forward to.
yeah.
And work towards getting your loved ones saved if they're not. Pray for mine. If you've already got all yours saved, pray for mine. They haven't all found Christ yet, and that is what I think bothers me, is not having that eternity.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But you're right. Just think what that will be like, though, when you get that hug from him up there.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great. I got to see my grandma for the first time in like 10 years, 2 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And I have some issues with my grandma. But I held on to her so tight because it was like, you were the closest person to my grandpa.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I held on to her really tight. A lot tighter than I had thought I was going to. You know, I thought it was just going to be a, hey, hug, and, you know.
Right.
No, we stood there for a cool minute and hugged it out.
That's good.
Yeah. But, my grandpa died. Got depressed. I ate my feelings because I didn't have drugs to do. You know, I mean, I'm sure they were there, but I didn't know anybody, and I didn't want to get in any mess. So, I really tried, because Oklahoma has this law where first offenders, you automatically get a year review, which means in a year, they will come back and they'll review your case. They can either modify it, give you less time, let you out then.
Wow.
If you don't, you know, mess up. Or, in my case, nothing. But I have a bad rapport with my judge. I had a bad rapport with my judge, so he was kind of sick of my stuff. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I don't blame him. I wasn't ready. I needed to do that time. I needed that. Found some great, amazing women in there. Amazing women are locked up right now. They have such incredible stories of hope and courage and sacrifice that I'd be doing it an injustice to try and tell their story.
Yeah.
But amazing women are in that place that a lot of them don't deserve to be there.
Yeah.
Anyways, I got out. Well, hang on. I got back into drugs like 2 years before I got out. I was just done with prison. I was done.
Yeah.
I was done with all the crap that went on when there, because there's also some atrocities, like some of those guards should not be in that line of work. You know, like
right.
The name calling, the degradation, like they would joke when, you know, you found out that you lost custody of your kids. You know, They would put you down. They would allow people to go beat you up. Like, they would beat you up themselves, you know. There was this one officer there, he tried to flirt with me a lot. You know, like he would go out of his way to flirt with me. And I would go out of my way to embarrass him. Yeah. Because I don't want anything to do with you, you know. He wrote me a Class X misconduct, which is the worst kind of misconduct you can get there. It, you know, hurts your time. If you're eligible for parole, you can get denied parole. In my case, I got denied parole because of it. I was sent to lock, which is like jail in jail, where you only get 3 showers a week. You're locked in your cell 24/7. Well, they'll give you an option for rec, but you don't have to take it. I never did. I didn't want to, because you're chained up. You know, you're chained to your waist and shackled. Like, that's not rec to me. Yeah. I can't stretch nothing. Yeah. So I never went. So you're locked down for 21 days. I was in there. Wow. Because I wouldn't flirt with him. And I embarrassed him in front of the compound a couple times. Well, the lunch line anyways. And he didn't like that. That hurt his ego.
Right, it would. Yeah. Because you have to have a certain amount of, a certain personality to be a cop or a prison guard. Mm-hmm. What I found, a lot of times they are more narcissistic than anything.
Oh yeah, you know, for sure. Well, it complements the characteristics in narcissism.
Yeah.
You know, the power, the control, all of that, the having to rely on,
Right.
all of that. It plays into all them characteristics. And so, yeah, so I got in trouble for that, got denied parole, but that's okay. I ended up discharging all of my time. I'm not on parole or probation right now. I have no obligations to the state of Oklahoma except paying them some money every month. That's all I need to do. I haven't been in trouble since. I haven't even had a speeding ticket, which is amazing because I speed everywhere I go. But it's a rate. I'm a NASCAR driver when I'm driving. But after prison, I came here to Oklahoma City. My mom lived here. Plus, you know, change your people, places, and things.
Yeah.
All my people, places, and things are in Tulsa. But I know, you know, I'm sure some of y'all know, geographical changes is not a fix-all.
Yeah.
Because everywhere you go, there you are, you know.
Right.
And I found it again. But I checked myself into rehab this time. I went down to Dallas to this place called Greenhouse. And my insurance, my free insurance that I was eligible for upon release, paid for it.
Wow.
Well, most of it. I still have some bills, but they paid for most of it.
Yeah.
Great facility. Nothing like the state-funded ones. We got to smoke cigarettes, drink real caffeinated coffee.
Wow.
You know, state-funded, you don't smoke, you don't get nothing caffeine, you get nasty food. We had a 5-star chef, you know, red snapper fish. It was good. But they did that because they wanted you to focus on your recovery and you. Like, they didn't want you to have to worry about chores or doing your laundry or, you know, anything like that. They wanted you to just focus on you.
Right.
Which was good.
Yes.
It was great.
Exactly.
And plus, you know, if you're not trying to figure out ways how to sneak a cigarette in, you're going to be reading your book more or something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, it was cool. I got to meet some amazing women in there as well. Was clean for about 7 months. I actually did the program. I got a sponsor because I never got a sponsor before. I never did anything but read the books because I figured, you know, I'm smart enough. I can figure it out, right? That's not really how it works. You need to have that accountability partner, that person that can share their experience, strength, and hope, you know, because, I mean, I don't know about y'all, but sometimes I need somebody to tell me, what are you thinking? No, that's not right. Let's try this, you know, because I know somebody who went through it and this is what they did. You know?
Right.
And that's all we can do is just hope is the only thing we can really give.
Yeah.
You know, love and hope. And sharing your experience with somebody else gives them hope. You know, like, I'm okay with everything that happened in my past because if that can save somebody else's life from going through that or even close to that, it was worth it. You know?
Right.
Worth it. God got me out of it to save your life, you know?
Yeah.
And if just one life is saved, it's worth it.
Yeah.
But I got with another guy. Guys, if you haven't tell, are kind of my downfall, kind of addicted to them too. But got with another guy. He was in drugs real bad. I thought I had a control on it. Didn't. Messed up a really good opportunity to have my own store. I was working at Sonic, and I went from car hop to training to be an operating partner in 7 months.
Wow.
Because they seen my potential.
Yeah.
I tried to tell them, please let me be an assistant manager for a while. Let me screw up, you know, learn some things, make some mistakes while I still have that, you know, that canopy.
Right.
And they're like, no, you'll be fine. You'll be good. You'll be good. And I'm like, okay. But, messed that opportunity up. Got really depressed because I told myself, you're not going to mess this up. You're not going to mess this up. Because I had a chance to be a model. I was, when I first moved to Oklahoma, I got hooked up with John Casablanca's modeling, was going there and messed that up, you know. So I'm like, I'm not going to mess up another opportunity.
Right.
Messed it up. So I was really depressed on myself. Went through crazy year and a half. Really crazy. Got to my bottom. I got to my bottom.
Yeah.
I got that gift of desperation, and I seen in a reading somewhere, I think it was an NA reading, that gift of desperation spells out God.
Oh,
It spells out God. And
I really like how that is.
because we need that.
Yeah.
I need to be at that bottom. I needed to be at that bottom.
Yeah.
Everybody else was trying to tell me this is your bottom. No, that wasn't my bottom.
Right.
I had to go a little bit farther down to get that gift of desperation to be like, okay, have it. I'm not doing it right. Have it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you know, I wish I would have listened back then, but I didn't. But I got that gift of desperation, and it came in another pregnancy. Well, sort of. Before I found out I was pregnant with Briley, I didn't want to live. I was too scared to kill myself.
Yeah.
Right? And my body, anytime me and my boyfriend at the time got into a fight, because he was also very physically abusive, and he, you know, tried to kill me a few times, but I would always fight back because I have this body that's a survivor
Yeah.
and wants to live.
Yeah.
But my soul was crushed, my heart, my mind wasn't in sync.
Yeah.
You know, one of them didn't want to live. I didn't know which one didn't, but the other one overpowered it, obviously. And I mean, I was walking in the street, hoping a truck would hit me. Like I was prepared to commit suicide by proxy.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna put myself in dangerous situations and not try and fight, even though I always fought back. And I hated life. Every time I woke up, I was like, why? Really? You know, why do you hate me? Just take me.
Yeah.
You know, if this is what you created me for, I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
You know, like, am I the lesson that needs to be learned from other people? Like, why am I here? What is my purpose?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And
we all need purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, we all need purpose. And I found out I was pregnant, and it pissed me off. It really did, because now I can't kill myself, right?
Yeah.
Because I honestly thought, what would the headline read?
Right.
Mother with child takes own life.
Yeah.
You know, what kind of legacy is that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? How would my kids feel?
Yeah.
You know, how my mom. Oh my gosh, my mom.
Right.
So I didn't. A friend of mine that I met in Women in Recovery, that program, was following me on Facebook, and when I'm like that, I reach out like that.
Yeah.
You know, I post things that probably shouldn't post, you know, but that's me crying out for help.
Yes.
And she heard that, and she told me, she said, if you ever want to come back, you let me know. She said, I can get you into a house, I can get you a job, and I will buy your bus ticket.
Wow.
A few times I was like, okay, I'm ready, but I wasn't ready. After I found out I was pregnant, I got ready real quick.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
I called her up. She even got me an Uber, and she's in Tulsa and I'm in Dallas.
Wow.
She paid for me an Uber to get to where I was at, to the bus station, paid for my bus ticket, paid my first 2 weeks rent at the sober living home, got me a job, took me there. You know, she was a friend.
Yeah.
When I needed one. And I told her, I said, you saved my life. She said, no, Brandy, I just gave you the ticket. You saved it yourself. But yeah,
That is so sweet.
She was there, and I'm really, really grateful for her. But I just thought I had kind of accepted that I was a drug addict, and this is going to be my life. I'm going to be a chronic relapser. You know, this is just it. This is it. This is what I was made for, to be this, right? I'd accepted that. I was just going to go along with stay clean throughout the pregnancy, just to keep the baby healthy.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't care about me so much, but I just wanted to have this baby and get on with my life.
Yeah.
I was looking into adoption. I even had a family picked out in California, really nice family, Christian family, make good money. I mean, Briley would have had a very nice life.
Yeah.
You know, very rich type, you know, California even. And not the earthquake one. Not the earthquake California, like up in the woods and stuff.
Right.
Really nice people. I was talking to a lawyer. We was about to get all the paperwork drawn up. And NA has this saying, and they're so cliche, but it's so true.
Yeah.
It's, if you, how does it go? It's something like, if you walk the walk, you'll start to think differently.
Oh.
And I just did what they said.
Yeah.
I just did what they said, because at this point I'm just going through the motions. Whatever you want me to do, I'll do, because I ain't got nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
I have nowhere else to go. I have no car. I can't live with my mom.
Yeah.
I have no friends.
Yeah.
I have nothing. I came with the backpack and the duffel bag, and that's all I got.
Right.
And so I didn't want to be in the cold. I didn't want to be homeless under a bridge. That's not my lifestyle. That's not mine.
Yeah.
And so I did whatever they told me to do, and something changed in me. Something shifted. I got a sponsor. I worked the steps. Even though I wasn't in my conscious mind committed to it, I think my soul was committed to it.
Yeah.
Because I answered all the questions fully and deeply and honestly, and I really worked that program.
Yeah.
And it changed my thinking.
Wow.
It did. It changed my thinking. I didn't know how it happened, but it happened.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it did. I got an ultrasound picture out of Briley, and I was like, this beautiful baby. And in that moment, I changed. Everything changed. Like, I knew I was going to be okay. I knew this baby was my baby. She was my baby. And I was going to be her mommy, and I was going to do it right. And I knew I could do it.
Yeah.
I had faith and confidence in myself for the first time. And we're still going strong.
Yes. You are a good mama.
I have that baby.
Yeah.
She's my baby. She's so beautiful. She is. She's my bumper. Like when you go bowling, you put the bumpers up for the kids so they don't go in the gutter.
Right.
She's my bumper.
Yeah.
So I don't go in the gutter, because
Right.
I still have that other person inside of me.
Yeah.
I still have it. I know it's there, and I know it's a daily struggle. Those demons are ready to just get that weakness, but I'm more aware of myself now, and I'm more aware that they're in the background. I know they're there waiting, but I don't want to go back there.
Yeah. So what about you putting your armor of God on every day, every morning when you get up and get dressed?
Oh yeah. I have readings that I do. It's NA literature, but when I lived with my mom, I would read my NA stuff, and she would point out the biblical rightness to it.
Yeah.
Because NA branched off of AA, which was originally based off the Bible.
Yeah.
And a lot of what NA believes is what Christ believed.
Yeah.
You don't intentionally inflict harm on yourself or others. Treat others how you want to be treated. Be of service to your fellow.
Yeah. Right.
And obviously don't do drugs.
Yeah.
But and it sounds so simple, but it's so hard at the same time.
Yeah.
Because being nice to that customer that's cussing me out, I want to cuss them back out, but
right.
I can't. So I have to. And dealing with people that's not up to my standards and work ethic is hard to deal with too. But I don't intentionally inflict harm on myself or others. I'm honest. I don't steal from Walmart anymore. I used to steal from Walmart so bad, it was horrible. But I changed everything, and
it's really hard for me to see you that way. It really is, because you are such a precious human being that you have made those turnarounds and made those decisions and choices to do better.
Yeah. It's a daily struggle sometimes, especially now with prices going up. I make the joke of, I'm going to have to sell drugs again, but I will never, ever, ever do that. I know there's other ways to get legitimate money. And so I do that.
Yeah.
And really, I joke about it, but it's not my first thought. It's no longer my first thought, because I know that my first thought is usually wrong.
Oh.
Yeah. I suffer from that disease where my first thought is usually selfish, and that's never good. you know. So I try to not completely disregard my first thought, but I don't listen to it anymore. I'm not as impulsive. I'll think about things. I plan things out. I plan my life a week at a time.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do an hour before, you know.
Mm-hmm.
My life literally revolved around drugs and whatever guy I was with.
Yeah.
And I've been clean now. I'll be clean for 3 years in September.
Wow.
No drugs. Yeah, no drugs. No, I was been single for that same amount of time.
Yeah.
I just focused on me and Briley because at the end of the day, everything starts with me.
Yeah.
I can't love someone unless I first love myself. You know, I can't
Yeah.
be happy with someone or my situation until I'm happy with myself. And I'm, there's still things I struggle with, but I know that I'm changing for the better.
Yeah.
I'm better today than I was yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I know God's with me, even when I'm struggling and I'm starting to worry. Money's always been a big worry wart for me. And every day I give it to God. I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm worrying about this. So I'm just going to give it to you because I know that He's not going to drop me.
Yeah.
I know He's not.
Right.
He's brought me too far.
Yeah.
To leave me now.
Yeah.
And I've gotten a better understanding of God's love for me by how much I love my kids.
Yeah. Yes.
And the sacrifices for them I've made, the sacrifice Yeshua made for us is huge.
Right.
But I would do that willingly for my child.
Yeah.
To save their life, I would give them mine.
Yeah.
So I understand that, and I'm so grateful that even when I turned my back on God, He never turned His back on me.
Yeah.
He was still like this, waiting.
Right.
Waiting with His hand out.
Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes carrying us,
Yeah, definitely.
lifting us up and we don't even know it.
Yeah, definitely. There was a time, this was a long time ago, but some of those MS-13 cats, they came to my house, and a deal had gone wrong, like months prior. We had squashed it. Everything was fine, I thought, right? Because we were still dealing with each other. They came to my house, and I guess they brought that back up. And they put me and Calvin, who had nothing to do with it, in the bathtub. They put us in the bathtub.
Wow.
And it had a machete to my neck and a sledgehammer to his.
Wow.
And I was like, I'm going to die. This is it. I'm dead. You know? Because the way they were acting, they were not going to change their mind.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I had dealt with them long enough to know they don't play around.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And something, literally, it was like a light switch. I remember, going back there right now, I can remember standing there in that bathtub with that machete to my neck, and they just, literally, it was like a light switch switched, and then it was okay.
Wow.
Everything was fine. They let us go.
Wow.
Yeah. They stole my TV, and then brought it back. They brought it back the next day, and apologized to me.
Wow.
And I'm like, what? This happened? Like, that was God. I know that was God.
Yeah.
And I know that was God because anybody else would have been dead.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I've always...
Yeah, that M13, they are...
Yeah,
they'll chop you up in pieces and mail you back.
Yeah, they're pretty ruthless.
Yeah.
And I know God saved my life then. Many, many times I should have died, and I didn't.
Yeah, you've got purpose here.
I got purpose, and if it's to tell my story, to save somebody else's life, then it's worth it.
Yeah.
It was definitely worth it. Today, I can't wait to go to church.
Yeah.
I miss y'all when I'm not there.
I know. It's
miss
just
it.
a different thing, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Like, I've found genuine people there. Amber,
I know.
yes, she is such an inspiration. Her story, she told me some about her story, and I'm like,
Yeah, I got to get her on yet, too. Yeah.
you lived a life. Okay. You're breaking chains and generational curses.
Yeah.
I need that.
Yeah.
I need
Right.
that.
Yeah.
And in NA, even, they tell you, looking for a sponsor, to find somebody who's living the life you want to live,
Yeah.
and hook up with them and ask them questions.
Right.
How'd you get through that? How'd you do that?
Yeah.
And she's one of those people
Uh-huh.
for me.
Yeah.
Kim's one of those people.
Yes.
For me.
Amazing women.
Amazing women.
I love them. They're such good friends.
So strong, and I want that. I want to be that person that breaks these chains in my family, because I don't want either of my daughters to have any kind of boyfriend like I had, or the husband like my mom had,
Right.
or the dad and my mom's even adopted, even those, on both sides, the biological and the adoptive, not good.
Yeah.
Not great anyways, for
Right.
sure. A lot of toxicity and dysfunctional families. But I want to break those chains for my kids, because I don't ever want to see them hurt. And they are such an inspiration for that. And I feel like I'm standing in that gap, because through my healing and healing myself, my mom is finding healing.
Yes.
With her own issues, and obviously, of course, with our relationship, and our relationship has gotten a lot stronger.
Yeah. It would.
I had to get my car fixed, right? So I was broke. I couldn't, that was a pretty hefty amount, and I had rent due the next week. I didn't have it.
Yeah.
I was $200 short, and my mom gave it to me. My mom wouldn't give me that,
Yeah.
But she knows now that when I ask for rent money, that it's going for rent.
Yes.
It's not going for anything else, or to anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And that's amazing to have that trust built back. And I know that I know it's God.
Yeah.
I know it's God, because I couldn't do that.
Right.
And all it is just changing my perspective, and knowing that whatever this world's going to throw at me, my God is bigger than it.
Amen.
He's bigger than it. He's been there, done that. It's already been won. There's a song that goes, my God doesn't know how to lose, or something like that.
My God is an awesome God.
No, not that one. It's a victory song. It's a victory song. I give the battle to you, because the battle's already won. I love that song. I have to figure out what the words really are. But I love that song, because I believe it. I believe that He's there.
Yeah.
He's there. He's already won it.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna be there with me in the trenches.
Yeah.
And that's comforting. It's comforting to know, because I've been on my own the majority. I'm an only child in a single parent family. You know what I'm saying? I've been alone a lot.
Yeah.
And moving around, I didn't have a lot of friends.
Right. It's hard to gain that.
Right.
Yeah.
It is. And so I struggle with that still, with friendships and relationships. It's hard for me to establish them.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna leave. Somebody's gonna leave.
Yeah.
And I just don't want to get hurt. But I'm getting over that now. I'm developing friendships. I'm investing in those relationships, and my life has gotten a lot happier.
Yeah.
I found that peace and serenity, that I always wanted, and I'm very, very grateful and thankful for everything that I went through, because it really did make me who I am today, and which is, I can honestly say I'm happy with myself, for the most part. I still have my days and my moments, but I don't hold on to those resentments. I can talk to somebody who, rubs me the wrong way correctly, and deal with it correctly.
Right.
And now we're better.
Yeah. Right.
And it's good. It's still struggling. I overthink a lot. I still get anxiety sometimes, but it's nothing like what I used to stress or overthink about.
Yeah.
Am I going to die today? I don't have to worry about that question.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm going to be okay.
So filling that hole that God hole that you were trying to fill with everything else is now filled.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful.
Because it's God now.
Yeah.
It's not drugs or guys or, shopping or, money, whatever.
Right.
because I've had all the money. I used to blow thousands of dollars at the casino in one sitting and, you know, still have money. But
Right.
now I live paycheck to paycheck and I'm the happiest I've ever been.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
I have that, what's important. I have what's important now, and that's God, peace, serenity, comfort of knowing that I'm not alone.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
It's great.
I love you.
I love you too.
And I just want to thank you for coming
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for
Today.
asking me.
and sharing your story. Is there any more chapters?
Oh, there's bunches of more chapters.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, the ones that I'm most excited about are the ones that I haven't even read yet.
Yeah.
I'm excited for my
Oh,
future.
that's good.
I'm excited for my future for once
Yeah.
in my life. You know, I'm excited about dealing with Briley when she's older.
Yeah.
You know, all of the terrible, she's about to be 2, so the terrible 2s have already started.
Yeah.
I'm excited about everything.
Yeah.
Everything excites me now. She gets on my nerves, but I love it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. No, I get it.
She's my world. And I tell her all the time, like, I speak, words are so powerful, and I speak, ever since she was born, I speak onto her, like, you're going to be amazing. You're going to change this world for the better. You're going to be successful. You're going to find happiness. You're loved. I love you. God loves you. Mommy will be here. God is always with you.
Yes.
I say those things to her when she was a little baby. I'd stroke her face and say it to her while she was sleeping.
Right.
But I already know that she can do amazing things because she changed my world.
Yeah, she sure did.
She changed mine. So
Yeah.
she's a little go-getter too, you know. So we got to watch out for that.
It's amazing what the little ones do to us.
Oh,
Really.
yeah.
It really is.
Her little life saved so many more lives.
Yeah.
Because I know if anything happened to me, that would kill my mom.
Yeah.
And then, you know, Dominic,
Right.
Jamie,
Yeah.
you know, my grandma. So many other people's lives would have been affected.
Yes.
And it's crazy. You know, I just want to say, you know, if you're out there struggling with addiction, I get it. You're not alone. All your feelings that you're feeling, they're not random. You know, other people feel them. Even people who aren't in addiction. I know that we all struggle with feelings and thoughts, negative thoughts, and it's gonna be okay. You know, your family loves you. God loves you. I love you. I don't even know you, but I love you.
Yeah.
The NA has this saying, let us love you until you can love yourself. And
Yeah, that's
this church
beautiful.
is like that. NA is like that. I know that sometimes we need that good support.
A chance.
A chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Right.
sure.
Yeah, a fighting
A
chance.
fighting chance.
And that is Yeshua. He gives us that fighting chance. So thank you so
Yeah.
much for coming. Will you return again for another show?
Sure, if you want me to.
All right. We can look forward to that then. Thank you all for coming and just enjoy God's journey.
Mhm.